Recently, though, I don't know where it is in the legislation, and you might know, Mike, as far as the coyote hunting, it sounds like they're trying to push for it to no longer be year-round. What are your thoughts on it?
A week ago today, the NRC voted to cut our Michigan coyote hunting season back to 9 months. They did that despite the fact there was no sound biological scientific evidence to do so. They did that based on the optics. I hate that word, the optics, the perception that year-round coyote hunting, hunting during the season when they have their pups, they were worried about the perception of that to the anti-hunters. In my opinion, this is a huge mistake. It's a red flag. This is a big deal, and it opens up a can of worms. I hate cliches, but it's a bad precedent to have these people in the NRC making a decision like that for nothing more than the perception. I mean, back in '96, we worked so hard to pass Proposal G, which called for sound scientific wildlife management, and now they just completely ignore it. I'm very concerned about it, and I'm really pretty upset about it, pretty mad about it too.
That's
How dare a group that is appointed by the governor? So obviously there are political connections there. How dare that group blatantly disregard what they are charged with doing? We're not California, we're not Colorado, but this is the first step in that direction.
Through our experience, other states have really sound ways of running their DNR. A lot of the laws are based purely on biology. For example, Brett High from Idaho is the one who really explained this to us, that their governor kind of has the mindset of, if you want to place a rule or a law in place, you need to be willing to take away two, which whether that's real or not, I don't know, but it's kind of a figure of speech of like, be really sure what you're doing makes sense. Michigan is going in a weird direction where we're kind of just doing things and for, like you said, the optics.
Hunters really need to stand up and have a very large voice about this whole coyote thing, because it's almost like you're giving in to part of what the other side is saying just to kind of keep the peace, as if the people on the other side are like going to settle there. But I think hunters need to be a lot louder about it, because this is a real problem. Because like you said, it's not necessarily that, like, do people coyote hunt all 12 months of the year? Maybe, maybe not. But I genuinely believe there's all these difficult things that make it hard to hunt well in Michigan. If we can keep making it more difficult and we can keep taking things away little piece by piece, less and less people will hunt, less and less people will have interest, and then at some point, you guys don't need guns to hunt anymore, so you don't really need guns. And I really think that that's the long play of the whole other side.
You are very wise for being so young.
Thank you. Yeah.
I feel like I'm listening to a younger version of myself talk.
Jumping back to the coyote specific and kind of touching on what Ryan was saying, in Idaho, we had the opportunity to work with Brett High. Now, Brett High is a biologist there.
We have nothing but good things to say about Brett.
Yeah.
He's an amazing man.
And, we got to talking while we were ice fishing. He's explaining that, like, they do surveys every year, and they base all of their work and projects go towards what the hunters and fishermen say they care about in those surveys. And they take all that into account, and they very literally take into account where they tally it up, make decisions, and announce this is what we're seeing in the results, so this is what we're going to do about that. These people deeply care, and we're telling them, we're like, we're not allowed to hunt doves, and they were laughing. The deer bait ban and all these different things. He goes, what I have found is in states that have really well-run Department of Natural Resources or Fish and Game departments are typically biologists run. And what I think Michigan and other states are like is they're very police force run. So it's managed like, we're going to get you to follow those rules, as opposed to the biology relationship. When we saw people walking out on the lake to go ice fishing too, the DNR there stopped the people to ask them what they were seeing, how they were doing, if they were happy with what they were finding, if they had any concerns. That was the conversation. I've never been stopped like that in Michigan. My conversation's been very different. Now, I love the DNR. The whole goal of our show is to sell more hunting and fishing licenses to people in other demographics than the white male over the age of 55, which won't be buying fishing licenses in 15 to 20 years. My whole goal, sell more licenses. But also, the laws have to make sense. The laws have to make sense.
I think we have a lot of arbitrary fish and game laws. There's no doubt about it. And I also believe that sooner or later, Anybody who spends enough time outdoors in Michigan is going to break a hunting or fishing law. It's like driving. If you spend enough time behind the wheel, eventually you're going to break a driving law. You're going to speed a little bit. You're not going to come to a complete stop. You're not going to use your turn signal. And I'm not talking about people who go out after dark with a spotlight and intentionally shoot trophy bucks. We've got laws that if you come back to the truck to have lunch, you can't lay your shotgun across your tailgate when you're upland bird hunting because you've got an uncased gun in a motor vehicle. Yeah, those types of things are absolutely ridiculous. I'm involved in a little bit of a fight right now with trying to get more rods for Great Lakes trolling anglers, just as a way of increasing recreational opportunities. I mean, people have less time these days to be on the water, so why not maximize the opportunities? People say, well, you're going to hurt the resource. Baloney. If the resource is still protected by the daily creel limits and the size limits of the fish, recreational anglers are never going to hurt the resource. Having unnecessary laws like how many rods you can use to troll with on the Great Lakes and things like that, yeah, put your efforts in other areas. Absolutely.
Yeah, switch the focus to things that matter. Those are the things that concern me, and those are the things that I want to see, because I love this state. When people talk about we travel all over the place, I mean, we went through the map. We got one of those ones where we can put pictures in every state we've been to. We've been to 42 as a group. I genuinely would not want to live anywhere else. I love having all 4 seasons. I love the winter activities. I mean, we've got snowboarding, ice fishing, snowmobiling, tapping maple trees. We've got turkey hunting. We've got all kinds of things to do in the spring. We've got salmon runs, steelhead runs. We've got it all.